guys, welcome back once again to the Blue Boys Network. I've got to say, we are last minute winners. Last week was such a bad start. Got the name wrong, called us full-time winners. And that's what you get with sweet and sour soccer. It's all rubbish, and just one end to the other. But in the end, we do get to the right destination. Guys, if you aren't a subscriber of Sweet and Sour Soccer already, we just today, yesterday, recorded a video. We finally made an FPL league. We've got prizes that we're going to be giving out at the end of the season and random prizes throughout the season. So if you haven't already subscribed, go and do it. Make a team if you haven't already and get involved because we want to give away as much money as we can. And if you do go and watch the video we did yesterday, yes, I'm wearing the same hoodie. Yes, I am a tramp, but I don't care. That's it. I'm going to throw it over to you now.
You're going to throw it over to me, actually introduce the video. So basically, guys, we're going to alternate between Everton content and general football content. Obviously, on our first show, we did a general football content tier make of Premier League clubs. Today, we're going to switch over to Everton. And obviously, we aren't Everton fans, so we're going to give you our perspective, perspective from a non-Everton supporter, what we kind of think about Everton. And we're going to look at basically our trophies in European football. Ultimately going to return to Everton. I mean, I think it's been far too long, James, you'd probably agree, since Everton, you guys got to see the European football and more importantly, the trophies. But there's a lot to be promising about. There's a lot to be, there's a lot of promising things happening with Everton. So we're basically going to analyse all aspects, aren't we?
I mean, what Everton fan doesn't want a Wolves fan to give their opinion on Everton? It's just, you can't ask for more. Guys, we're going to break this down into 4 subcategories. We're going to look at the owner and the new stadium. We're going to look at Marcel Brands, who's had quite an impact at the club. We're going to look at the academy, which over the years has produced some incredible talent. And we're also going to dive into Benitez. We're hoping it's going to be a 20, 25-minute video where we can give our opinion, based on, what we know about the club. And to start, we are going to dive in straight away because I know this has dragged on for 3 minutes already. We're going to jump into the owner and of course, the new stadium. Scott, should we start with the owners first and then incorporate, their dream, if you will, the vision of the stadium, which, by the way, looks fucking incredible.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously, the owner, Majuri, he has a 92% holding now, which he's gradually increased since he sold his percentage that he had actually in Arsenal, wasn't it, that he sold? I think he had around 16% at the time with a business partner that sold that, and he set about being the sole acquirer of Everton. Obviously, with the first bid was he acquired just under 50% of the club. It's one of them. He hasn't got everything perfect. He hasn't, but I feel Everton fans have a lot to be excited about with Majuri as their owner. He's clearly got the right intentions. I mean, you can see that with the stadium. You can see that with the money he's put into the club. So I think it's always a positive. I think there are signs that you're picking up Ginger.
Honestly, I can't do anything without her. I've had to make her own little bed next to me. She won't leave me alone. Sorry, carry on. But
basically, I was just saying there's a lot to be for Everton fans to be excited, in my opinion, about this owner. But he hasn't got things 100% right. But what is promising is there is the right intentions. And you look at Newcastle, for instance, who are a big club, and they've got one hell of a bad owner in place, haven't they, with Mike Ashley? So, it is a positive. And, of course, with the stadium itself coming in as well, that's more intent to show. He wants to grow the club, doesn't he? He's not going to accept mid-table. He's not going to accept the 10th place finish and the 12th place finish that have happened in the last 2 seasons.
No, Bramley Moore looks like it's going to be, It could really take the title of the UK's best stadium from Tottenham very quickly. I mean, the site where it's going to be and what they've got to do over the next month or two just to be able to actually start the work. I think there's going to be something like 10.5 or 11,000 people, workers in the process of this stadium. It's just mind-boggling, and it really will be, I think, the jewel in the crown of Premier League stadiums. The capacity, they haven't gone for an Arsenal 60,000 and a Tottenham 60,000, but they've gone for quite a nice number of 52,888. So more than enough for Everton. I know they've still got, I think they do have season ticket waiting lists because they obviously have a huge fan base. And what this stadium will do is it will bring more concerts, more. If there's ever a Euros in the UK, I'm sure Goodison Park would have got games, of course it would have, but this new stadium, it will be almost at the top with Old Trafford, the Emirates, Wembley. I mean, when you think of big sporting events or concerts or whatever the case may be at Everton, I remember watching, I think Tony Bellew won a cruiserweight title there like 7-8 years ago, but I don't really remember other big things happening at Goodison Park. And you've got to think, with this new stadium, all the extra revenue that it will bring in the off-season, in the summer, because a lot of Everton fans, I'm right in thinking that not a lot happens with Goodison Park in the summer. So, mate, the amount of money they could make from boxing, UFC, who knows?
And that's it, isn't it? It's I suppose the different marketing approach and the different, spectacles that could come in and what you'd call, once the season's finished, that extra revenue, that could be used, it could be used to strengthen the academy. It could be used on future players. So it's a great thing. And, obviously you said 52,000, has got the capacity to further increase as well. So they have very much got that in mind. It's going to be such a unique stadium. I mean, there's in the plans for a swimming pool to be put in, which is a little swim. It is, swimming pool. I mean, it's going to be very unique, isn't it? But I think that just part with the owner's vision.
Because I know Fulham want to put a swimming pool on their stand. I didn't realise that Bramley Moore was as well. Is that right?
I believe so. From the pictures I saw, anyway. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, they've got the docks, so they can always jump in there if they wanted to, but they've also got a swimming pool. I mean, they are literally thinking of everything. They're going to have the if the Olympics ever come back, they'll have the bloody synchronised swimming, Bramley Moor, whatever they call it. Let's move on to another aspect, because, I mean, when you look at the owner, you look at the stadium, you look at the future-proofing that they're going to do. You mentioned it's going to be so much easier to build on this stadium if they want to. Goodison Park, there's so much private land around Goodison Park. It's not ideal. The cost to purchase all the land, all the businesses that surround Goodison Park, it just wouldn't work. You've got to say it's a success. So you look at the owner, you look at the manager, the stadium. You've got to say it's only looking up. Moving on to Benitez. We did a video on our channel before Mike even asked us to come onto his channel, where we looked at Everton, looked at Benitez, and would it be a good fit? I said yes. I was quite excited. You not as much. Are you still having that same thought? Or
I wasn't, but then I look more into it, and I think he's not going to be a long-term manager, as in you're not going to probably get more than, I don't know, would you get 5 years out of him? I mean, when's he going to have his kind of vision on retirement? But, you've also got to look at the fact of Duncan Ferguson, obviously a very promising, assistant manager. Some Everton fans even wanted him to be given the chance, this time round. So a manager like Rafa Benitez that has got that experience of bringing trophies, bringing success. If you get rid of the fact that he was a Liverpool manager, which is hard to do.
It's not easy.
It's not the worst appointment, is it, at the end of the day? And if to answer the question that we're looking at, are trophies in European football returning to Everton, I think having a manager that's got that experience of getting European football, winning the Europa League, and obviously bringing in trophies as well,
and the Champions League.
Yeah, exactly. So he's brought in plenty trophies. So
yeah,
it's not a bad appointment. The only thing which I worry about is he needs to hit the ground running, doesn't he? Really, I think Everton fans are, from what I'm seeing, Everton fans are prepared to give him time, but how much time will he be allowed is the key question.
I mean, it's not a good start when there's I don't know if they've quite gone into the burning of effigies. I don't think I've seen that yet, but obviously we've seen all the, the bed sheets and all the, the posters outside the ground, and they've been well documented in the mainstream media. Everton fans aren't stupid, man. They've put up with some proper shit in the last 5-10 years. Really, since Moyes, they've had to go through their trials and tribulations. So I think if he comes in, he gets 10 points on his first 5 games, it starts to look up. You get behind him. They're not stupid. If he brings them in the top 4 and gets them a League Cup, those Liverpool connections are long gone. The shoe's on the other foot, and they can start laughing at Liverpool, saying, well, we've took your manager and we're now winning trophies, so who's the clown here? Do you know what I mean? But one thing I noticed from Benitez, and this has been a staple of his whole career, he's a very animated manager on the touchline. He's always talking to his players. I know some players in the past have come out and said that they don't like it. Some pundits think it's a bad thing. I don't. He's always talking to the defenders. We know how he likes to keep it compact. He likes to be organised. He's always giving instructions. He did it yesterday. Was it yesterday or the day before? Everton won the Florida Cup, obviously. It's not something you take serious, but you looked at Benitez, and I've seen the highlights of the game. Even before the penalties, he was giving instructions to all these players, even though they couldn't play anymore. And that was one criticism that all Everton fans, or most, had against Carlo Ancelotti. He was very lacklustre on the touchline, didn't get out of his seat much, didn't really do much. Benitez isn't that manager. He will talk to them. He will get things going. So I think that will be a different side of the coin of we'll see compared to Carlo Ancelotti. Even if it's going wrong in the game, you'll see Benitez actively trying to get things going.
Yeah, and I think touching on, again, what maybe he'll do different to Ancelotti. I mean, you look at Everton's results last season, and I think inconsistency is probably a fair word. There was some results which, they pulled off, which you thought, wow, okay, fair play.
Start of the season, they were flying last season.
Yeah.
I think they beat Tottenham away 1-0. I think were they unbeaten in their first 5, or they won 4 out of their first 5 games or something?
It was them and Villa, weren't it, on the early charge for the title at one point? But, I feel like inconsistency is the correct word, and I feel like with Rafa, you're not going to get that. And of course, maybe his style of play isn't, going to be too exciting at times. But I think what he will do is he'll bring a real stabilisation and consistency. You look at his past managements, I think that's what you're going to get with Rafa. And I feel if Everton can repeat, even if Everton repeated last season but just became a little bit more consistent, you could see them fighting for European places, because I feel that was the real downfall. I feel it was that inconsistency last year.
It was the teams they were losing to as well. Mike mentioned it when we first got in touch with Mike and got him on our channel to do our Are You For Real segment. He was talking about the teams that they were losing to. I think they lost or drew to West Brom, lost this to Burnley. I think we managed to did we take a point off them last season? And we were bad last season, Wolves. So they were losing to the wrong teams at the wrong end of the table. And Benitez won't lose those games, I don't think.
No, I don't think he will. I think he will give that consistency, won't he? You might have to. I think Everton fans might have to put up for a bit of an adverse style of play at times. But if it gets those results over the line, it'll be all be worth it. And especially if it can bring the European football back. I think definitely owner-wise, manager-wise, I think Everton are really on track. But there is a few things where I feel Everton need to kind of improve, and there are going to be areas of which we're going to go into, which I feel that there is room for improvement, but they're already showing signs of improvement, which is more positivity.
That's all you can do. That's literally all you can do is just keep improving. Just like Sweet and Sour Soccer, and just like Mike and the Blue Boy Network, you can only improve. We're not going to sit here and just try and kiss ass and say that you're going to finish in the top 4 next season, because I don't think you do, and I don't think most Everton fans do either. It'd be a welcome surprise to you all. I do think in your heart of hearts you don't think it will happen, but I don't think Everton are expecting to make a 6th place jump in one season. I just want to see them getting on the right tracks on the pitch and off the pitch in the boardroom kind of thing. Let's move on to Marcel Brands, which, you mentioned this idea to me. You wanted to talk about him, and I really thought, would the Everton fans care that much about talking about this guy? But the more you look into him, what he did at PSV Eindhoven, and what's happened to them since he left, and what's happened with Everton, hit the ground running in regards to transfers. If we can get this up so you can all see it on the screen as well. And Scott, I'll let you take away straight away. So these are the arrivals in his first season, first summer window. I think he was late to the party on Yerry Mina. I think he just signed, or one of the big ones had just signed.
Yeah. So his first signing was Richarlison. Obviously, he came in June 2019. That was after 8 years at PSV as literally in charge of transfer strategy. So this is what I mean about these backroom signings, which make a massive difference. The signings the signing of Brands has made a massive difference. And I feel like they continue to learn lessons. Richarlison was a great signing. You mentioned he was just short of it. And also his second signing was Lucas Digne as well, which was, a very shrewd signing. Yeah. Gomez has been he's been a bit on and off. Of course, it was a loan signing, weren't it, with an option to buy, which triggered the next year. He's been a bit more so, hasn't he? I think I've always quite rated him quite highly, but I think he's a bit sideways, isn't he, in his passing?
Yeah, what I don't want to do is talk about individual players, or this will be a 3-hour video. But I do know what you mean. That injury didn't help him. There's been some good signings. You look at Richarlison, you look at Digne, you look at Allen, Godfrey, Decore, but there has been some stinkers, you've got to say, as we go up the list.
Yeah, let's go to the next year, because the next year for me was where it really got quite confusing after a real positive year under him. The signing of Alex Iwobi just really didn't work out. Musa Keane has been one of those, which again, I'd be surprised if they got the £24 million back for him that they paid. Andre Gomez we've touched on. Fabian Delph. I heard Mike say that he wants to drive. He'd happily drive Delph to his next destination. So I think that says it all. But you wanted to touch on the departures as well, didn't you? Really, in this season,
the departures are a bit of an odd one. Don't get me wrong, you can't blame every single sale of a player that goes on to do well, because you never know if how many players have we seen leave a club that he was, doing badly at, and then smash it somewhere else. So it's hard to say, but it's this one. Idrissa Gueye, I did not understand this one bit. I'm hoping I'm not going to sit here and kiss ass again and pretend I watch every Everton game. I don't know if Idrissa Gueye was doing the business even in an Everton shirt, but surely, on the training ground, his quality must have shone through, even if he wasn't doing it on the pitch. Ademola Lookman, I didn't get this one either. And then you go down the list, you look at James McCarthy. 3 million, very injury prone. That's not bad. But you look at other players, Kevin Mirallas, Phil Jagielka, Ashley Williams. To let them all go on a free, I'm not saying you're going to get big money for them, because you're not. But if they were on better contracts, a year left, maybe 18 months, 2 years, between Mirallas, Jagielka and Williams, I know age wasn't on their side, but could you have got 8 or 9, 10 million for a combined 3 of them, which you can then put towards another player. I don't know. I just feel like
Yeah,
this
definitely.
year wasn't the best year for Everton.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. And I think with Idrissa Gueye as well, maybe it was the fact he wanted to move to PSG. But I just don't feel there was there weren't a great replacement brought in. I imagine Delph should have been that, but just what it really wasn't.
Well, didn't Delph have some issues with fans? Wasn't he moaning on Instagram
Yeah.
about fans? And also Iwobi. Didn't Iwobi go on Twitter and start saying about like how he gets played out of position? Because I think he played fullback one game. I think he was played in midfield a few times. And I don't know. Apparently Iwobi's a bad egg anyway. But again, how much of that can you blame on...
But I mean, look, moving on, I feel this is where you're starting to see what Brands is all about. I mean, last season for me, I was surprised Everton didn't finish much higher. You look at these signings, Ben Godfrey, Alan Doucouré. I mean, Doucouré, I think everyone wanted him. I mean,
James Rodriguez.
United and Liverpool, and of course the big one, James Rodriguez. I mean, okay, they had to smash the wage structure a bit for that one, but what a sign! I mean, for me, what a signing.
I agree. This was a summer where I remember thinking, oh my God, Everton mean business. They'd corrected the wrongs from the year before, Delph, Iwobi, Moise Kean, etc. They've got rid of some dead wood. You look at, Morgan Schneiderlin, they signed him for 20 million or 21 million, 2 or 3 seasons, no, maybe 3 or 4 seasons before from Man U. £2 million after buying him for 20 million.
And I think it's the departures. We know how FFP works. It's the departures at Everton that really worry me. You look at like Leicester and what they're doing. They're selling. They're bringing players in. Often not. They're kind of at the level, but they've just been undiscovered players. I mean, yeah. I'm sure that's where I really see a bit of a negative with Everton, if I'm being completely honest, where Everton need to improve. And it's finding those players that you could bring in for 10, 12 million and sell them on if required for like 20, 25 million, and that, if not more. And that's what Leicester have been so good at doing. And that's how they've managed to, get that trajectory up the league. And
I agree.
I turn to this one here again, and I know they're not the big name signings, but you look at Damari Gray, you look at Townsend, obviously Vegovic is coming as well. I'm actually quite impressed with the arrivals so far, because what it's done is it's beefed out that squad. And it's done it at such a cheap rate. So if Everton do manage to move on the likes of Delph, other players that they may look to move on, which would free up a lot of their wage structure. You'd hope that they'd at least get a bit of money for Delph as well. Moise Kean, another one, potentially going to PSG. You'd almost hope that then that would give them money to actually then reinvest in one quality player, because what they've done really well here. So, for me in general with transfers, I see at the early stages of Brandt's coming in, they haven't got it quite right. I think, but Everton, you guys are starting to get much better for me. You're starting to get much more shrewd with your transfers. We're seeing that you're bringing in some good proven names, but the worry for me is about the exit, the people that you need to get out the door. You need to start bringing in people that, even your academy, and we're going to touch on the academy soon, but selling academy players on for 5 to 10 million. Chelsea do that brilliantly, don't they? And they use that to, they'll get rid of 5, 6 academy players a year, or charge loan fees, which can then be used to obviously fund future transfers in that window.
Yeah, I agree. Just bringing it back to Brandt himself, this is a man that spent, I think it was 8 years at PSV Eindhoven. Did quite well there. He won the league 3 times, won a couple of domestic cups as well. He actually, they actually won the league 3 of his last 4 years there. So it wasn't a quick fix when he came in. He built it up. Won the league three of the last 4 years. And then last season, they actually finished 4th. So, you can't... I'm not going to sit here and say I'll watch the Dutch league every week. I don't know what's going on at PSV. But, that could be attributed to him quite heavily, potentially. I'm not going to sit here and say that Brands is going to be the sole reason, just like it's not going to be the owner, it's not going to be the new stadium. But the guy is 59 or 60, I believe. He's got that wealth of experience. I think he can only be a good thing. I think he will learn from his mistakes. And I've read quite a few articles where he's spoken, and he seems to speak quite well. He doesn't seem to shy away, a bit like Woodward or the Glaziers or the Cronkies. I think he does say, yeah, we made a few mistakes here and there, but we're trying to rectify them. A bit like our owner, Jeff Shee, not to make it a Wolves video, but he did a special this summer where he sat down with journalists and spoke candidly about what he wants to achieve and the mistakes I've made. And Brands is quite honest like that. So, again, owner, stadium, looking good. Benitez, in my personal, humble opinion, only good. Brands, I wouldn't mind him at Wolves, I'll be honest. I really wouldn't mind him at Wolves.
No, he's definitely got that experience, hasn't he? I mean, let's finish off then on the academy, and I'm gonna. I've obviously touched on the academy, haven't I, Al? In terms of transfer business, but I'll let you start off on that one.
It's an odd one because we all know the names that have flown around with Everton. Osman, Rooney, Barkley, Tom Davies, who's in the squad now, and hasn't really kicked on the last year or so, but obviously he's been a good player for them over the last 3 or 4 years. But mate, some of the names on this list that were in Everton's academy, and you've got to ask the question as to how are these players getting looked past? How are they leaving for free or nominal sums of money? So we've got Rooney, Barkley, Tom Davies, as I mentioned, Leon Osman. David Unsworth was at the academy, great player for them. Eric Dyer was at Everton's academy. Now, I know he's a bit of a meme now, but 4, 5, 6 years ago, this was a man that got to the World Cup semi-final, scored his penalty against Colombia. This was a man that was playing weekly for Tottenham in the Champions League, competing for it's Spurs, not competing for titles, but he was playing for Everton. You've got to think, if he'd have come through Everton's academy, they could have got a good fee for him. Another one, Jack Rodwell, of course, they got good money for him. Tony Hibbert was another one. Did you know that Mustafi was at Everton's academy in 2009?
That's an interesting one.
Did you know that? I never knew that. And
No.
to think, why didn't this player break through the academy? Again, I know at Arsenal he was a bit of a meme, but this is a man that's won the World Cup, who played for Germany next to Per Mertesacker and won the World Cup in 2014. So there's a player there. How did he get away from their grips? And another one was John Lundstrom, who's done very well for Sheffield United. So Everton have in the past and over the last 5, 6 years produced some good talent in the academy. It just seemed like they seemed to let them go at the wrong time or let the wrong players go.
Yeah, I think what you're also saying is even if they don't come through the first team, this is what I was touching on transfer-wise, where you want to see more sales from that academy, even if it's like £2-3 million players, rather than looking into the academy. I was just seeing a lot of them get released, and I know that's a common thing that happens in the academy. Yeah. Of course it is, but I wasn't seeing many be sold on for any sums of money at the end of the day. I feel again incomings, and there has been, of course, a slight change. Obviously, they brought in Jared Braithwaite, who's gone into the under-23s. But again, so there's a little change there. But I'd like to see more incomings into the actual academy, as in purchases. I think it's something other clubs do really well. But I mean, to finish off on the academy, for me personally, the one thing I would say that brings promise to this is the fact that David Unsworth, obviously, as you mentioned, come through the academy. He knows a lot about Everton, the ins and outs of Everton. He's recently been basically appointed to overview the whole of the academy structure. And I think that's, again, getting those backroom staff right is very promising. So essentially what he's going to do, his job is going to be to bring all that academy together and make the transition from the academy into the first team like a nice path to follow. And it's little things like that for me that can make all the difference at times. And it gives me hope that from an Everton fan's perspective, you're going to see more of these Everton players given a chance. it looks like they might focus more on the academy as in bringing in stars, or future stars, or at least bringing through players that you're going to be able to sell on for a fee. So, although
They might have to as well.
right for now, although I don't think they've got it right for now, I think there's a lot to build on and a lot of stuff.
With these FFP issues that they've got at the moment, it might have to be the case where they start looking internally rather than externally.
But even if you can sell like 3 of them for let's say a £5 million fee to a championship club, you've then got 15 million, which you wouldn't have before. That probably signs if you're smart with it, you could probably get a first team player or at least a bench player for that sum of money.
I agree. I completely agree. To try and bring a what's the word that you use at school where you write an essay? What's the bit again? Conclusion, summary? No, there's a fancy word. It's not a summary or conclusion. It's when you do like a.
I mean, honestly, I don't know. Let's just go with conclusion.
Let's go with conclusion. Without obviously, we can sit here and say, well, we think Everton are going to finish 4th next season, win the FA Cup. We've got to be real about this. We can say what we want and get more subs, but no one's going to be interested in that. What's your honest assessment from what we've spoken about, what we've looked at? And Everton as a club of what you've seen growing up, do you see any difference now from 15 years ago when we were kids?
I think I do, because there is a lot that Everton are building on. I feel like Majuri obviously came in with all the good intentions, but his strategy of just pumping money in essentially didn't really work. I mean, the bloke spent 500 million to date. Obviously 255 million net if you consider the outgoings that they've had. But so he's pumped a lot of money in. I feel there's a lot in the background that they're now starting to get right. Obviously spoke about Brands, Unsworth as well. Little tweaks to the club that are putting them in a good position for the future. So do I feel that it's going to come instantly? If I'm being completely honest, I don't quite see European football this year. They might scrape the Conference League. I think fans will be split if depending on how that Conference League looks, if you'd even really want that. But for me though personally, I think there is a good chance of it returning. I just think maybe it might be in the next 3 to 5 years rather than the immediate future. Because it's going to.
I wouldn't stray too far from that opinion. I must admit, do I see them finishing the top 4 next season? No. And from the rumblings that I've heard from the Everton fan base, watching all of Mike's videos, as I said earlier, Everton fans aren't stupid, and they can see what's in front of them. I think a lot of that will be based on Rafa though, because of his past. And we can't really sit there because it would be like an ex-West Brom manager coming to Wolves. Obviously, we're going to have a lot of disdain towards that. Me, from an impartial point of view, and I know you might be looking at it from that old Liverpool connection of his, I think it's a good thing. Do I think you're going to finish top 4? No. Can I see you finishing 7th in that Conference League, like you said? I can. I think I can. It's just about getting into those 7th, 6th, 5th places. Get some European football under your belt. Try and nick an Everton Cup. Try and nick an FA Cup or a League Cup. Get that silverware. Build some confidence into the squad and the club as a whole. Everton should be higher. I know our tier list last week, I put them in big club. I personally don't think they're a massive club in terms of the Arsenals and Chelseas of this world. We can agree to disagree. I stand by that. But I think they're the next biggest club to probably get there with Leicester. It's basically
that's what we said, and I still think that was a really fair comment, to be honest, that they're not quite there because of the recent success. But
they're the next brand. It's them and Leicester, you've got to say, that are fighting for it. I know they haven't been the best over the last 5 years, say since David Moyes left. But no, a summary, I'm going to keep an eye on Everton next season, even more so obviously being on Mike's channel, but also because I do think that something might happen with them. I'll be really, really interested to see them.
Yeah, I mean, guys, let us know in the comments, let us know your thoughts. Have we got things right? Hopefully we have.
Probably not.
We've done a lot of looking into it, so I bloody hope so. Otherwise,
Also, before we go, do go over to Sweet and Sour and join our FPL. The code is there. We're giving away £100 for first place at the end of the season, £50 for second, and £25 for third place. Just for hitting the subscribe button and joining the league. The more subs we get, the more money we're going to give away at the end of the season. And we're also going to give away random prizes throughout. So one random game week, whoever gets the highest score will get a prize, so on and so forth. So go and check it out. Hit the subscribe button on Sweet and Sour if you haven't already, if you've enjoyed this video, because I'm sure as a general fan channel, there's loads of content that you will enjoy.
There we go. We'll see you on the next one. See you next Wednesday.
Take care.